Good evening. Welcome to Southeastern 16 presented by FanDuel, the championship game edition. Georgia has just beaten Alabama 28-7, snapping the Crimson Tide's hex on Kirby Smart in that program. Just a very impressive win. Not as much of a game as the final stats in the box score would make it appear. Jay Greeson, I'll go to you first. Your reaction on what Georgia did to Bama today.
So many reactions and so many line items, so many things to discuss, whether it's the macro or the micro. But I'm going to talk about the game first. Kirby Smart came into this game pissed, and his players came into this game pissed. And they took the fight to Alabama, and Alabama did not know what hit them. And I understand the concept of we've all been around football long enough and we've heard it enough, and we understand the effectiveness of establishing the run to dictate offense. Alabama couldn't run the ball at all. And they had to know that going in when you're at your third string running back and then hoping on a freshman who has only really played against the Mercers of the world. So I'm a little curious why they didn't just air it out. I mean, look, we can't do this. So they're going to make us one-dimensional, and then they're going to know we're one-dimensional. Let's be one-dimensional from the jump. As bad as Georgia just whipped Alabama, Kirby Smart whipped Kalen DeBoer worse.
Chase?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this series. We've talked about what could be in this matchup. And, I mean, Alabama just looked out of sync from the start. And you're right. When you're in the situation they are with running backs, you've got to know that the game plan has got to be different. And then it doesn't help when Alabama's dropping the football. You know, when they do air it out, they're dropping it and putting themselves in bad situations. So to me, that was the most out of sync that Alabama has looked all year long. And but credit Georgia. Georgia's been playing so much better every week. Their defense has gotten a lot better. And it showed tonight. They put it on. They came out ready to play. Alabama did not look ready to play that game. Georgia looked like they could have beaten anybody in the world tonight. They were ready to win that game.
Yeah, look, Georgia doesn't overwhelm you on the stat sheet, but Kirby Smart is the best coach in the country. He knows exactly what he needs to do. This team is just really solid in everything. Like, Georgia may not be flashy, but right now there's nothing that Georgia can't do reasonably well. It's not often that it plays out this way, but I think the two things I circled in picking Georgia to beat Alabama were special teams, and Georgia got a punt block at the first to really set up the first score, and just the running the ball thing that we've hit ad nauseum. Kirby Smart, Jay, knew where he had an edge, sometimes small edges, sometimes big edges. Georgia didn't need to be exciting or flashy. It just needed to play to its strengths, and Alabama's offense was so inept that just wasn't really in kind of counterpunch until the fourth quarter.
Well, did you see maybe the best? Well, no, you didn't see it. I was driving to the grocery store because I was making dinner to celebrate something with family here. So I was driving to the grocery store and I listened to the Georgia broadcast on the radio. And it was DJ Shockley interviewing Kirby Smart walking off the field. Because, look, coaching interviews are as critical as tits on a bull. I mean, when the halftime conversation, I mean, dear Lord, man, they might as well read from John Wooden's biography. I mean, but DJ Shockley got a microphone in Kirby Smart, and he said, well, what do you think about the first half? And he looked him dead in the face, and he said, if they don't score, we don't lose. And that is the mentality that he took from kickoff to celebration. And that defense, look, man, Alabama's wide receiver room is talented. It's not Ohio State good, but it's top 5, top 10 in the country. And not only could those guys not get open, when they caught the ball, Alabama had to run the flag football double pass through the middle of the field to get a 25-yard play. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, they
just
were
inept,
tenacious. I mean, it was. I don't know what Kirby said in the pregame, but it had to be reminiscent of what Sean Payton says in the beginning of the extended video of Kenny Chesney's Boys of Fall. I mean, it was clap 3 times if you're ready. Clap 3 times. And those dudes came from the jump. And SEC Outsider, somebody put in there, Georgia got their touchdowns were off a short field from a block punt, short field from an interception at midfield, and whatever else. That's fine. Georgia needed 2 points in this game. With the way that defense played against that Alabama offense, Georgia needed 2.
Yeah.
Safety, field goal. This game could have been 28-7. It could have been 48-7. It could have been 3-0.
I want to get to the Alabama end in a minute, but I continue to be really impressed with the way that Nate Frazier runs for Georgia. Not a banner day, 13 for 52, but I had a score. Zachariah Branch in the open field. Again, not a super day, but 5 for 53 and a score. I mean, those 2 touchdowns right there were enough to win the game. Dylan Bell had a bigger catch early, but Jay, you had said that Kirby Smart should have been in consideration for Coach of the Year in the league. I think I agree with that. He had a young team. I think it was 54% freshmen and sophomores. And Chase, they just got better as the year went on. It is not a dominant Georgia team, but they have enough parts to beat just about anybody on the right day. And they're taking care of business when your defense and your special teams give you short fields. Georgia's got plenty of talent. I had people texting me saying, hey, Kirby's getting conservative. You know, third quarter needs to stop. I'm like, hey, look, do you really think Alabama's going to score 22 points? Because I didn't. What Jay said, I just think hit the nail on the head. Had Georgia needed to score more, I think it could have, but the defense was so dominant today that it didn't have to.
Yeah, the defense put them in the positions that they needed to, where even if Georgia's offense was not having a great day, well, your defense has put you in the position to be able to score points, give you those short fields like you were saying. Like that's what a good team does. Like defensively, they got the job done, and they handled it well. They looked well doing it. Like they were just solid all around. And again, you put your offense in a position where they don't have to have a great day. Like your defense came up solid and strong. Loved what I saw from their defense today.
Let's talk Alabama. Chase, I'll start with you. Well, first of all, let's get to Benson's question. I was about to type in the chat. Who is we? He left a $9.99 super chat. We appreciate that. Will they punish Bama the same way they punished us in 2017? Who is us? Your 4 playoff teams that year would have been Clemson, Oklahoma, Georgia, Alabama. So I'll wait for that answer. Blake, throw that up on the comment if that's here. Okay, says oh you're Auburn. Okay. Gosh. What was Auburn's record in 2017? I'm gonna have to pull that up.
You remember, Jay?
It was like it was 10-3, and they beat Georgia in the regular season a week before Thanksgiving. And then, hey, there are a lot of similarities in that comp now because Kerryon Johnson got hurt and couldn't play in the SEC championship game, and he killed Georgia. Granted, that game was in Jordan-Hare. Little bit of an edge for Bama in that comparison because they won the game in Athens this year in head-to-head, but that's a different offense without Jam Miller. Running backs can't catch the ball out of the backfield. They damn sure can't run the ball. And it is, man, when did Kalen DeBoer learn the Hugh Freeze "I'm lost" face? I mean, dude was on like the leader of the island of misfit coaches in that scenario. I mean, I saw him throw his hands up more than I saw him look confident or inspirational.
Yeah, Benson's parallel, looking at the schedule, November 11th, Auburn beat Georgia, which was number 1 at the time, 40-17, and then the rematch in Atlanta was 28-7. Caroline Johnson had a heck of a year that year, by the way. But yeah,
it's back I don't committed to running the football.
The poll Blake has put up, I still think, look, there are different things that are allowed. Alabama, like if you're going look tests right now, Alabama does not look like one of the best 10 teams, which is what we're trying to decide. I give a lot of credit to that to Georgia, but let's not forget. I mean, Alabama had some terrific wins and a lot of them, and even the losses. Florida State was a bad loss. Florida State, I think, was. Well, I'm not going to defend that one, but let's not forget how many really good wins Alabama had. At Georgia, Vanderbilt, at Missouri, Tennessee, at Auburn, LSU, for what those are worth. Like, if you start looking at decent wins, Alabama had as many as anybody in the country. It got a couple of them on the road. I think Alabama should still be in barely. I don't know if it's going to, because if you watch the game, they didn't look good today. But if you want to go with what's loud, I would vote Alabama in, not by a lot, but because what it has done in its body of work, which we seem to be quick to forget.
I'm voting them out.
You're voting them out. Okay.
They just got smoked. I mean, I'm voting them out because you're about to, I don't know, Chris, you mentioned their strength of wins, and that's fine. But I mean, the system is flawed in so many ways. And I think Alabama's going to get in because the committee has got to, they've now got 3 chores in my mind. And I know we're going to talk about this tomorrow when we cover the selection show live. Number 1, do everything they can to try to pick the 12 most deserving teams with ... providing a great TV product with ... And this has now been added in, trying to make certain we protect the conference championship game, because Alabama's strongest point to get in this tournament now is if they don't, everybody's going to look up and go, why aren't we having conference championship games? Because Alabama was in before this, and now they're out.
Well, so SMU got in last year, although SMU loss was closer. But anyway.
SMU got in last year when there weren't this many teams boxing out.
Yeah. Chase, what's your vote?
You know, after what I saw today, do they look like a playoff team? No. Do I think the committee puts them in? Quite possibly. But based off what I saw, no, they're not playing like they did today, running backs out, like they did not look like a team that could compete in the playoffs.
Chase, that hurts. That hurts because they've now seen what Alabama offensively looks like without Jam Miller, and they've got no way of knowing whether Jam Miller or that running game is going to be healthy for a game on the road in theoretically what is 12 days.
Yeah.
I mean, in that regard, Ole Miss was better served by not going to the SEC title game and looking this bad without Lane Kiffin scheming up whatever he was going to scheme up, because And Hunter Yurachek, I don't know if you guys saw him on game day. What a worthless interview.
That was horrible.
It was, dear Lord, man. Every question that Reese Davis tried to ask, it was so bad that the king of coach speak, Nick Saban, said, did he answer a single question? And so you can only suppose what Ole Miss is or what they're going to be without Lane Kiffin. We've now seen what Alabama is without Jam Miller, and it is striking.
That is a good point. That's a good point. No Jam Miller. I mean, although their times the running game wasn't great without it, but I had not considered that. So.
And here's the thing. BYU was right on the cusp too, and they went and got their tails handed to them. I mean, this was as bad a day for Mormons since the U.S. outlawed polygamy. I mean, they got railroaded. So
I knew as soon as you started that it was not going to end well.
Well, I thought it ended perfectly.
Well,
I mean, I thought I stuck the landing. I didn't carry.
You kind of did, actually.
Yeah. So, but nobody's bantering about BYU, who has 2 losses, and now Alabama has 3, and we're going to pretend like they just didn't get stuffed into a locker and then put in a trash can and rolled down the stairs like they were a sophomore in high school.
Like a lot of this is just like, what do you value? Do you value how a team looks right now? Do you value resume? Do you value how dominant it was during the season? I mean, you can pick a lot of criteria, and I'm fine with some inconsistency. You've got to pick what's pretty loud. And I know we're bagging on Alabama right now. I know they didn't look good, but it doesn't change the fact they've still got a pretty good resume, guys. As ugly as it was today, you can't like take today and like that. Okay. Oh, well, now let's not give them a win over Missouri or Vandy or whoever. They still had a lot of really good wins. And you know what? There's a lot of teams out there that didn't.
And that's where tomorrow the committee has got to figure out what they value the most. And we'll learn what they value when it comes to Alabama. Is it what they saw this afternoon, or is it the data points, or is it the season as a whole? Like, We'll learn what they value when it comes to Alabama based off what they decide to do, because there's valid points on both sides.
Yeah, I think they value whatever it is they need to value to get them the outcome they want. To be honest, because I don't hear a lot of logic or consistency, and that's what I don't like. I'm not sure who the right 12 teams are. To be honest, there's probably 15 teams that deserve an argument. I cannot tell you who the right ones are, but when you cannot sit in front and give me a cogent argument as to who belongs and why, and when you're making up as you go along and you talk about all the stuff they talked about to justify Alabama leaping Notre Dame last week, and then, whatever it was for Texas, I just don't hear any rhyme or reason or consistent methodology or frankly, much coherent thought. I think that's my bigger issue. Before we get back to the playoffs, got a couple of items of business. Josh, we're going to get your super chats in just a second. Before we get there, reminder, we are brought to you by Yearly Company, which is a Nashville-based fine jewelry brand built on tradition, designed for meaning. Each piece handcrafted from solid 14-karat gold natural gemstones, made to measure for a perfect fit, backed by a lifetime guarantee. Every Yearly Company bangle is custom sized. So having the sizing kit and knowing your size is the most important first step. You can get that for free. Go to Yearly Company, use code SE16KIT. That gets you 100% off your sizing kit. In other words, it's free. Go to Yearly Company, make your wife, girlfriend, fiance happy for Christmas. Thank us later. Also brought to you by ROKFORM, the world's strongest magnetic phone case, extreme protection, super strong magnets, rock lock secure mounting, SEC 25. Get you 25% off your entire order. Get the phone case and the vent clip. I've got both those. You'll thank me for that later. They are incredible products. You'll be glad you got them. All right. Super chats. Who wants to take this one first? DeBoer's going to finish his first 2 years with 4 losses in each year. He ain't it, says Josh.
Chase, I will answer 2 sentences, but you host a radio show in that state. So finishing with 4 losses in each of his 2 years, finishing with 7 losses rather than 8 is worse. Because if Alabama goes 0 for 2 in playoff appearances in DeBoer's first 2 years, that's worse than finishing with 4 losses in each of his first 2 seasons. Because to get to 4 losses, that means he's a playoff team, which at least shows progress that can be understandably explained among the pro Kalen DeBoer fan base.
Yeah, I feel like after last year we said, look, year 2, DeBoer needs to get to the playoff. And you could say that Alabama may have played themselves out of that tonight, and he may have coached them out of that tonight. So yeah, it's not a good start. I think though you also have to realize that he's not Nick Saban, and I like to say that on my radio show a lot when it comes to Alabama fans, that he's you can't hold him the same standard as Nick Saban because he's not Nick Saban, and we may never see another Nick Saban. I don't know, but he's not him, and so you can't hold him to the same standards as him. Alabama's not going to be as dominant as they once were. That's the day and age in college football. But yeah, 2 straight years without playoffs is it's not in the right direction.
But you can't rationally expectations of a program. Look, man, I hate a whole lot of coaching cliches. One of the ones, all right, number 1 on the list is they give me 110%. Well, it's just mathematically impossible. Number 2 is iron sharpens iron. Okay, yeah, we get it. This is not Game of Thrones. We're not getting ready for a sword fight. But what I do believe in that is starting to grow steam in the coaching vernacular is pressure is a privilege. And yes, we're never going to see another Nick Saban, Chase. We never are, period. Even if we saw a coach as good as Nick Saban, the structure does not allow Nick Saban to be Nick Saban in today's college football and the future of college football. But the reverse of that is he left him an infrastructure and a slew of talent that was everybody in the country would have traded for, including Ohio State. So, I mean, that's going to land on deaf ears. I mean, because if you choose to be the guy following the guy, then you're going to be the guy who the next guy is going to have a whole lot more success than.
Chase, I got a question. Look, I've defended Alabama. I think if I had the vote, I'd put Alabama in probably as the 10 today. That's where it's going to stop. Virginia is going to get one of these if it beats Duke, and then the other one will be probably Tulane or James Madison or whoever. But for the life of me, I cannot understand how Alabama, with what a first-team All-American at left tackle and at center, according to a lot of people, cannot run the stinking football. Explain that one to me.
I wish I could. It's a loaded offensive line, and I don't understand. And I talk to people on the daily about Alabama football, and I don't think anybody can understand why that's one of the worst position groups on the field for Alabama. With the size, with the talent, it's just they have not been remotely close to what they should be, thought they could be. It's just it's unexplainable. It really is of why it's been that way because the potential is there. Again, they're built to be one of the best offensive lines in the country, and they're not anywhere close to it. And they have been the weak point for Alabama a lot this season.
Yeah, Josh is already on to basketball. You might see some Alabama fans do that too, depending on the outcome of tomorrow. Josh says, I don't think a single SEC team makes the semis this year. He might be right.
He's wrong. Hey,
well, Georgia, I would bet on Georgia, but I mean, it's not a dunk.
To the semifinals? Look, man, they got the best coach in the country. I don't know if anybody's playing better than they are right now. I don't know. More importantly, I don't know if anybody's playing it as impassioned as anyone as Georgia is right now.
They're giving 110%.
Shut up, Chase. Damn it, man. I love you. And now you got to go do that.
Chase, I didn't see that coming, but I love it.
All right. Well, come on, Chris. Hit me with iron sharpens iron. And so look, I've been wrong about any multitude of things. Everybody who looks at my picks weekly at the Times Free Press knows this. But I was on Georgia before this happened. A bulb clicked. Gunnar Stockton grew up in Knoxville, and the rest of that defense came of age probably around the time they went and played in Jacksonville. And I tell you this, I bet Ryan Day hopes somebody else knocks Georgia out because that's the only team I think he's worried about.
Georgia has not given up 350 yards in any of its last 6 games. Ole Miss got 351, and then before that, 277 to Auburn, 270 to Kentucky. Before that, 397 to Alabama, and boy, that seems like forever ago. So,
and think about the growth or the digression of those two teams from that day to this, because Ty Simpson, look, man, there's going to be like some sort of story come out that he's got like 2 broken ribs. And that is me just spitballing. I am not quoting sources or saying anything on any type of reporting. But the guy we saw from week 2 to week 8 has not been the guy we've seen from in the back half of the months.
See, that's the question I was going to ask you, Chase. Like, Ty Simpson was so good. Mid-season mark, he might have been your SEC Player of the Year. And since then, I'm not saying Ty Simpson's been bad. He hasn't had a lot of help. Ran for his life a good bit of the time today. And you know, he's got Ryan Williams has been a complete non-factor. And even his most dependable guy, Jeremy Bernard, had a touchdown hit him in the chest, did get tipped.
Yeah.
If you're Ty Simpson, you're going, good grief, I can't catch a break. Even when I throw a good ball, we can't make a play.
Yeah. But I mean, some of his throws like low, and again, I know he had a lot of pressure on him, but low and throwing him outside of him, and just a lot of very uncharacteristic things from what we saw mid-season in the last few weeks. I don't know what the problem is, but there's definitely something different, noticeably different about Ty Simpson, because I mean, he was dissecting defenses in the middle of the year. I mean, and it was incredible to watch. And now he's throwing it all around him. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, but it is a vastly different Ty Simpson than what we've been seeing.
Somebody's calling me. I said the Bernard ball was tipped. Yeah. I don't know if whoever is on us heard that, but look, Ty Simpson, if I'm an NFL team, I'm kind of hoping there's an injury that explains this, because I thought before that he looked so good.
Yeah.
Well,
I think the talent in the head is there. Got a super chat from Josh. Stockton had 150 yards passing. Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon, Texas Tech, all defenses better than Bama. Since Colby Young, statistically.
Statistically,
I'm not going to argue.
They played in Region 6A in the state of Tennessee other than 2 games. I mean, dude, man, let me quote instead of I know we've gotten into the weeds on some old school high school football quotes from coaches. Let me go to the great American humorist Mark Twain. There are lies, damn lies, and statistics. Because every number, Chris, I know you got numbers out your sleeve, but I can come up with any other number to counter almost every number, because statistics are how you want to bend them, which you went on a mini rant. I know we're going to get neck deep in this. The committee would do themselves so many favors if they just put out a checklist of what they're looking for.
I think they don't, for a reason, to be honest with you.
Of course.
By the way, Indiana played one good offense this year. It was Oregon, and did play very well against Oregon. So just don't know.
No, Chris is not a nerd. I mean, and here's the thing. The guy who helped Billy Bean turn the A's into what is completely ruined baseball, they probably called him a nerd too, but now everybody's looking to hire that guy. So, I mean, we probably all need to get on the SS lead at this point.
I don't know that Sam's wrong. We're going to get Texas in there.
Sam's 100% right. I mean, I love you, but Sam's 100% right.
He is. It's all good.
I know.
Somebody wants Texas in there?
No. Beef feet.
No.
If we're going to do our homework, did you guys realize Texas was that close to going 0-for-5 on the road?
Yes.
The 2-3, the 2 wins were overtime wins, Mississippi State and Kentucky. Like, how did the committee not dig in harder on that?
You can't lose the Florida game, which is, in truth, if we're going to say that, even though Alabama got their 3rd loss in the SEC championship game, which is the big picture discussion. Because if Alabama gets in, it's the committee saying we're doing everything in our power to protect the championship games. Because everybody who bags on Texas for losing at Florida dang well should bag on Alabama for losing at FSU.
All right. I'm going to go back to the playoff. Let's kind of plot this out. Ohio State, Indiana winner is going to be your 1.
Yep.
Your 2 might be the loser if that's a close game.
No.
No?
Not the way Georgia just flexed, and not the way Texas Tech flexed.
Yeah.
The loser is 4.
Yeah, I think it should be Georgia, then Texas Tech, then, loser of that game.
Did Texas Tech have was it quarterback out when they lost to Arizona State? What was the deal there? They had someone of importance. Anyway. But I think the top 4 seeds feel like they're going to be locked in.
I agree with that.
Because even if Indiana loses, Indiana beat Oregon. Oregon's 5. Beat Oregon on its place. So it's just the top 4 in some order are going to be Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech. Last week it went Oregon, Ole Miss, A&M, Oklahoma, Alabama. Any reason they move Oregon, Ole Miss, A&M, or Alabama or Oklahoma?
I don't think they should, but if I'm Oklahoma, I'm a little worried about what the committee's going to do for appearances and everything that goes into this. I mean, if I'm Venables and that crew, at some point tonight, like it's 8:00 Eastern, at 8:00 Central, I make certain I speak to the media and start politicking early. Because first, let me just say, I firmly believe Oklahoma with that schedule deserves to be in.
Yeah.
But you're going to need to now start banging your drum Because, look, I think the committee's going to sit down in that room and they're going to think, okay, we got to figure out a way to get an ACC team in here. We know we want Alabama or Notre Dame in here. I mean, they're serving a lot of masters that are outside the purview of trying to come up with the 12 most deserving teams.
The problem with leaving Oklahoma out is they didn't really give you a lot to sink your teeth into other than you just look at them, and the offense at times makes you want to vomit. But the defense was outstanding this year. And the losses, okay, 23-6 at Texas. That's your first game back with your quarterback trying to play through a broken hand. And then the other one would have been Ole Miss in your building. So you did have a home loss, but I just don't think there's enough. I mean, you look at the wins, Michigan, at Alabama, Missouri, at Tennessee. I just think there's too much there in terms of the resume to leave Oklahoma out. I get what you're saying. I do. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it as well. I really don't.
I think you've got right now, you get those 4 byes, you get Oregon, Ole Miss, A&M, Oklahoma. Those are your 8 that are getting in. You're getting 2 conference champions in. And then whatever you do with Alabama, Notre Dame, BYU, Miami, Texas, and if you want to, Vanderbilt. But the one thing I do wonder, does A&M, Ole Miss get a second look? They put Ole Miss 6, A&M 7 last week. A&M 4-1 on the road. Ole Miss 3-1 on the road.
I mean, I feel like A&M should be ahead of Ole Miss.
I do too.
But that's kibbles and bits, boys.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both, neither have a bye, and they both have a home playoff game. So, I mean, if I had to answer, I'd say yes, primarily because A&M has a win at Notre Dame, and Ole Miss doesn't.
See, I don't think it's kibbles and bit. Well, when you say kibbles and bits, you mean it's irrelevant, unimportant, or what do you mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, the difference between 6 and 7 is
huge. Because six plays 11. Six is getting either James Madison, Virginia, Tulane, whoever, and seven's getting
James Madison, Tulane, or whomever. Or Virginia.
Seven is getting Oklahoma, Alabama, Miami, Notre Dame. That's what I'm saying. That's why I think that's a huge decision. You play at home, but there may be 20 points plus in the margin, the quality of team you're getting. Maybe not 20 plus, but it might be close to it. That would be interesting if they did it. I think they should. The committee's already under so much pressure. I think that admitting it made a mistake, if it feels that way, is telling the world we were unprepared, which has been the criticism all along. So, yeah, I think to me that's the flip I would make. We'll see if the committee does it. I think your thing at this point is, how do you differentiate between, Alabama, Notre Dame, because I'm Oklahoma's going to be in. Alabama, Notre Dame, BYU, Miami, Texas, Vanderbilt. Like what is your? I think so, yeah. But I mean, we're looking at teams. We're sitting there saying Alabama's out, or you think they're out.
BYU
based on they got blown out in the title game. Same thing happened to BYU.
BYU lost twice to a team that's top 3.
And BYU didn't beat anywhere close to the teams that Alabama beat.
But you also can't, and then maybe they say this: we valued your quality wins more than your stink pants losses, because the FSU loss is the turd in the punch bowl. I mean, we can't pretend that didn't happen.
No, nobody is. You put it all on a scale and see how it comes out. I just think the wins were loud enough. I'd put Alabama in before BYU.
Well, and maybe the committee pulls the Carl Spackler when he's cleaning the pool in Caddyshack, and he picks up the Baby Ruth and he looks at it and goes, no big deal. And he takes a bite out of it, and Judge Smales' wife thinks he's taking a bite out of a log. And okay, but if so many ripples are going to come out of what happens tomorrow at noon, because if the SEC gets 5 in, the litany of teams wanting to join this league, because if you're BYU, you're telling BYU and teams that are not in the Big 10 or the Big 12, if your only losses on your schedule and you just can't go schedule anybody, especially moving forward, because the SEC is about to play 9 conference games every year, which means they're gonna be real hesitant to schedule a home and home with BYU, for God's sakes. BYU lost twice to Texas Tech. They got stomped both times. But because if we're going to start lining up resumes, we're underselling Vanderbilt.
I agree. I don't know that Vanderbilt should be in for sure, but to not consider Vanderbilt was just a horrible process.
Well,
I mean,
okay, Tay says no one is scared of BYU. After watching Alabama today, I don't know how many people are scared of Alabama.
Look, these teams all have flaws, or we wouldn't be discussing them, right? I mean, this is not the 4-team playoff anymore. So tell me who you're putting in. You've got, for those last 2 spots, Alabama, Notre Dame, BYU, Miami, Texas, Vanderbilt. I don't think Texas and Vanderbilt are making it, but for the point of the argument, let's talk about them. What are you doing with those last 2 spots?
Alabama's best chance that will win. They really need Duke to win tonight, because a Duke win, and then the committee's going to figure out a way to rationalize Miami over Notre Dame with head-to-head. And they're going to want to try to make certain they get an ACC team in this thing. And, look, Alabama is in a pickle because it's now trying to box out against Notre Dame, which may be the only school in the country who can drop it on the table and say, we've got as big a brand and as many eyeballs as Alabama will. So what are you going to do? I don't know.
I think you're right. I think they're looking for easy stuff. I think they can say, hey, you lost to Florida State.
Because Notre Dame, well,
the only reason,
to your point, Notre Dame does not have as many good wins. Hell, Notre Dame doesn't have as many good wins as Vandy does, but they don't have as many good wins as Alabama does either. But none of them have that stink pants loss.
Yeah.
Does it help Alabama that they have a win over the SEC champion?
I think it's whatever the committee wants it to be, honest to God. And I think what they're going to do, I call this from the start, when they put Notre Dame at 9, that was a signal they wanted to put Notre Dame in the playoff. Notre Dame had not done anything of consequence at that point in terms of beating somebody. It got its bigger wins late. Pitt and Southern Cal, or was Southern Cal before the playoff? It might have been. Either way, Notre Dame didn't beat a lot of anybody's. And when Miami was at 18, I made the point, I thought they did that deliberately to avoid the head-to-head comparison, because if you did it, Miami won the game. I get it was the first week of the year, but Miami won the game. Get it was in their yard, but Miami won the game. And they inch Miami up every week. I think what they're going to do is I think they're going to put Notre Dame in and they'll put Miami in because I think they want them both in. They just couldn't get Notre Dame there without rigging the rankings the way they did the first time around.
Did they rig them or did they calculate them?
What's the difference?
I mean, well, intention is the difference. If you're rigging it to try to make it easy, or if you're calculating it to give an edge to the brand, that's the difference. I mean, motivation is the difference. But BYU getting curb stomped today puts them in a pickle that they're now, if we go off of last Tuesday's rankings, Notre Dame and Miami are about to be stacked on top of each other. And if you're not going to take head-to-head into consideration, then what are you doing?
Exactly. Yeah. And in that situation, I feel like you have to. If they're stacked on top of each other, you have to.
Yeah. And so what they'll do is they'll move Notre Dame up a spot over Alabama. And then you start doing the comparisons. So Alabama lost 3 games, Miami lost 2. I think that's what they'll do, honestly.
See, Tay just put up, and you put it. I want to talk about this point. No, it matters just the same for bubble teams. It just expands the number of bubble teams with an argument.
Yeah,
because a 14 playoff Sunday is ho-hum, and it's perfect. It's perfect. It's a Big Ten rematch in the semifinals and Georgia, Texas Tech in another semifinal. A 14 playoff is a better way to determine a champion than what we have now. Because now we're talking about politics and posturing and a beauty pageant and all of the conversations otherwise. I mean, look, I was wrong about saying the expanding of the playoffs would diminish. It did diminish the conference championship games because it did. Didn't feel the same. A 14 playoff with these conference championship games would be a whole different kettle of fish. But, I mean, there are now so many loopholes, and I'm terrified that their answer to fixing this and alleviating controversy is going to 16 or going to 24. And because then we're all going to bellyache who's the 26th best team in the country.
Well, I mean, what we're arguing here is who should be playing for a national championship. Now, the thing that has changed too is the parity is just, there's no comparison to what it was 5 years ago. I mean, I do think here's the thing.
It's more NIL than parity is NIL based.
Well, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I'm not. It's NIL and portal. But here's the thing. Okay, let's say we leave Miami or Notre Dame at home. I could argue either of those teams is good enough to win a national title, and that's the thing that's different about what it was 5 years ago.
Bo, nobody said 4 teams is perfect. I said the way this year played out, a 4-team field is way more understandable than trying to pick nits on who's 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14.
I thought 12 was a great number. I just don't like it's better than it was a year ago. The problem is they didn't count on what happened with the ACC. By the way, Ohio State, Indiana kicking off now. I'm really interested to see this one.
Why? Ohio State's going to beat a stomp a mud hole in them.
We'll see. I mean, Indiana did good.
Tell me how many yards per play or points per drive, and hit me with some analytics. Hey, and that's cool.
I think Ohio State will beat them, but you can't sit here and say, well, Indiana hasn't played a lot of these games, and then tell me how Indiana is going to do in this game.
No, but I can look at them and know that Ohio State has 25 NFL dudes and Indiana has 3.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
No, I think it's Ohio State. I do, but I am curious. By the way, a lot on the line for the Heisman tonight, too, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Because either I think one of these quarterbacks is going to have a really good game, win it for his team, and maybe win the Heisman, or both of them could potentially look mediocre, and that gives it to Diego Pavia.
Well, SC Scout guy just put in there that Indiana Fernando Mendoza just got hurt on the first play.
Oh my goodness, he did get knocked to the ground. Oh, he took a shot to the face. Oh, he got hit in the chin. Oh God, that's got to be targeting. An Ohio State guy.
That's the nerd in you right there. That is the 100% the nerd.
Have you seen the play?
No, I have not seen the play. The TV's behind me. But
okay, what do you call it when you put your chin strap?
About the quarterback, it is you instantly went into what the proper call should be.
When you take the crown of your helmet and pop somebody underneath the face mask,
but then can't we have some empathy? Ooh, I hope he's better. I want to see this game. Ooh, I hope he recovers from that. No, you instantly went into what the ref should do and what the proper call should be. And that's why we love you. That's why we love you.
There's another Mendoza coming in. I did not know there was another Mendoza.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Mendoza. Okay. Fortunately, he looks okay. I'm guessing he's just going to sit out a couple of plays. That looked dirty. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Can you call up the stat on number of times a quarterback gets targeted and then throws for 70% completion rating? I'll wait.
Don't have that one handy, Jay Greeson.
Fair enough.
He will by Monday.
Yeah, I know he will. Well, we got to be off here in about 8 minutes.
Yeah, but he's coming back in the game.
If we had another 15 minutes, he probably could. He could put it into the. Man, he's Neo. He could put it into the Matrix, and he just figure that stuff out.
All right, Jake Greeson, have you seen the hit yet? I guess you don't have a TV in front of you.
No, the TV is behind me. My dog's in my lap. I'm not turning around.
I think we've run out of steam here. Hello, Coco.
Hey, everybody. All right. Biggest takeaway from today, boys.
Whether Alabama's in or out, Alabama looks like it's not going to do anything in the playoff.
That Georgia, if they are motivated, can beat anybody the way that defense played. That's what I took away. They're playing on fire right now when they need to be.
Jay?
I think it is. All right, this is macro, and I'm going to soliloquy for just a second because I know we've got a few minutes. It's unbelievably poignant and fitting that multiple stations and networks paid tribute to Roy Kramer today, who died this week at the age of 96. Roy Kramer, for those of you who don't know, was a longtime SEC commissioner, and he is the godfather not only of the BCS, but he was the inventor of conference championship games. And this could very well have been the last weekend of meaningful conference championship games. So because of, look, what is the goal? What is the goal? if the goal starting at the beginning of the year, whether you're slapping the sign that says play like a champion, or you're touching Howard's Rock, or you're waiting for the Eagle to fly in, or you're listening to Thunderstruck before you come out of the stadium, or you're wanting to see who dots the I in the horseshoe. Any one of those proud and tremendous traditions, if your ultimate goal is to win a natty, Ole Miss is in a better position today than Alabama is because they did not play today. And debating that is folly. It's a fool's errand.
Yeah, completely agree with that. Yeah.
The championship games, I think, eventually will go away. But someone said in the chat, I think it was Sam, that there's a contract that locks TV into this for a while longer.
Without question. And
although I guess you can write a check to get it out of anything, can't you?
Well, here's the other part of that.
They'll come up with an alternative.
The leagues don't want them to go away either because they directly deposit those checks. Since 1984, when the football part of this broke away from the NCAA and the conferences got to negotiate their TV deals on their own, the conference championship game became, even when it was underpaid, CBS had the rights to it for years at only $55 million a year. And it drew 10 plus million viewers. Man, every network executive worth his salt, and even the ones who don't wear ties, would pay $55 million for one episode of anything that drew 10 plus million viewers on average. So the league is going to fight to protect that direct revenue stream, which is not equitable. Like the ACC would shrug its shoulders and say, yeah, it'd be a great service to us to do away with the title game where we don't have to watch Duke and Vandy or Duke and Virginia play, wishing it was Mark Allery against Ralph Sampson in 1983, and get Miami a dunk into the playoff. But the SEC and the Big Ten are going to fight like hell to keep some form of this. It just was fitting that Roy Kramer died this week, and maybe his biggest legacy may have died today.
You know what my takeaway might be? By the way, Chase, your take was great on Georgia. Georgia's looking great. I didn't mean to slight Georgia, but maybe your takeaway is this. Conference championship games are going to get the ACC a team in the dance 2 straight years that might not have gotten it otherwise. And for 2 straight years, it might keep the SEC a team short of what it might have had.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. We'll do, if we were contestants on Survivor, who would win?
Oh, I'm wiping the floor with both of them. I mean,
Chase, he's the youngest.
No,
Chase, there's no way I could.
What are you, 5'11", 160?
5'10", 175.
Okay. I'm 6'4", 230, boys.
Okay.
I'm leaning back, and just because I got a little bitty dog does not mean. And look, I have not always been the fine, upstanding citizen you see before you.
You're kidding.
Fair enough.
I think we've run our course here. Oh, the bots are back.
Wow.
Yeah.
SC Scout Guy, that's just not needed.
One of my buddies finished runner-up for Survivor 2 seasons ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate your cleverness.
Parting thoughts, Jay Greeson.
I I firmly believe that the committee is eating a whole bunch of Cheez-Its and drinking a whole bunch of Diet Dr. Pepper and going, what in the bleep do we do now?
Uh-huh. Chase?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm glad I'm not on the college football playoff committee.
See, I wish I was.
I do too. What if Duke wins tonight? We haven't even talked about that.
I'm not smart enough to figure all this out, so I'll just sit back and let them do it.
Okay, Indiana's first possession has come and gone. Indiana did drive. Mendoza hit a kid right in the hands, too, and he dropped the ball. Would have been first and goal inside the 20. But anyway, we'll be back tomorrow for the playoff show. We'll come at you live. We'll break that down. I guess we'll talk. Bulls will be out tomorrow, but that'll be a couple hours later.
Hey, look, Hunter Yurachek.
Hunter what?
Hunter Yurachek, right there. So, Hunter.
Not what you said the first time.
How do you feel about the rest of your day? Oh, that's good intel.
Hunter looked like he could have been on Survivor there. Pull that back up. He looks like he could win Survivor.
Hunter, can I ask you a question? Do you really think you guys have the best idea on how to pick this? Interesting. Well said. Well said, Hunter.
The answers he's giving right now are about as useful as they were on game day.
Well, actually, they're more insightful.
Yeah, that's true.
We're under your check. All right. Well, on to watching Big Ten and maybe the ACC. Thank you guys for being with us. We'll be again with you tomorrow. We've got stuff coming up next week as the playoff field gets selected. And, of course, basketball. I think we might have a basketball video tonight. Won't be on that one probably. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. God bless you. Have a great rest of your weekend. You've been watching Southeastern 16, presented by FanDuel.